Okay. You're listening to Polymatic.media, episode 130 for Spooktober 2025. Welcome to the Polymaticast. Hey, John.
Hey, you read it.
I read it. Well, yeah, when I get into the topic, that was the thing I meant to do, and haven't done yet. I'll talk about it in a little bit. Anyhow, how's it going? I know we've been talking for like the last 3 hours.
Like
2 hours.
2 hours.
2 hours. 2 hours. Yeah.
Ish.
Yeah. So, all right, what's going on for me? Because I think this will be I'll be the short end of this. I've been messing around with Suno AI, which is basically a music generator, and it's very impressive. That being said, I've been messing around with it, and I've been making lots of songs, so I've been messing around with it. So my initial idea was, okay, so I started making music with it, I don't know, last weekend. So if it's been only a week, and I've basically made like 90 plus songs. Now that being said, there's probably like 20 or 30 that are actually unique songs. So I come up with an idea, and I will write a set of lyrics, and I'll put different prompt styles into it, and then I'll try different styles, and then I'll iterate the lyrics a little bit per that style. So it's like the same song idea, but then there's a million little iterations, right? And so it always produces 2 variations for you. And I'm just jumping in here real quickly because the number of folders. I have 24 folders, and I've created some. These are 24 different ideas that I'm now categorizing in an idea, and then anyhow, I've been messing around with that. I've been having a lot of fun, and it's very impressive. And you could just do random, and it'll generate something out that could be pretty good. But my most best efforts and effects are when I am very specific about the style, the rhythm, the pattern, the qualities I want in the music and in the lyric style. And then I write core lyrics. So I've been doing a lot of stuff with that, and some really good songs. So I really haven't listened to other artists for the last week because I've been making stuff. I made a bunch for OG just out of the heck of it. I created one for you and your meshtastic potato net and made a rap. I think I had to screw around with it for a while, but I think it came out well. But I know you're totally not for the AI slop, and but it's fun to play with, right?
You deeply offended me.
Huh?
You deeply offended me.
Yeah. But the one thing that I was going to do, and I haven't tried yet, maybe I'll do it before recording, is I wanted to create sort of spooky opening music or whatever for OG.
Mm-hmm.
I used to design those things where I had like Matt read the opening raw, and then I'd make a spooky thing out of it after the fact in post. But I was thinking about messing with that to see if I can get it to not create a song, but create like spooky instrumental opening music or something. So yeah, it's a good idea. Actually, now I think about it, because I just didn't consider it before, I probably could create a bunch of sweeper music with it. So yeah. Anyhow, I've been having fun. That's kind of what I've been doing, what I've been up to.
Until you get, you don't have that problem anymore. But if you were to put it out there, on there, there's been a lot of people who got by the copyright scanners. Already.
Oh yeah. It's not public anymore. That's true. But also,
but if you were to put something like that on YouTube or whatever, it would definitely get flagged.
Because
there's lots of people who are generating those things and then marking them, registering them with CD Baby and that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah,
to make lots of money, and then claiming lots of videos.
I'm aware that Spotify internally has been generating, I think probably mostly for the lo-fi I know there's a guy out there. My other friends, they're really into like bad bad lyric audio AI slop. And there's a guy out there who puts stuff on SoundCloud or whatever. It's like he has the most ridiculous lyrics, and he makes a country version and a rock version and whatever. I'm sure he's probably using
The
Suno
was
or
it
something.
the chicken nugget sings
I don't know.
the Australian song, whatever
I
the
I don't know. The thing is, um, it's just the worst way to spend my brain absorbing and being entertained. But I don't like what do you call that? It's the same thing as random web
oh
slop.
the Cotton Eye Joe thing.
N-
They had like a
well,
whole there was a whole video thing on TikTok and on
yeah.
YouTube where they were like have a chicken nugget singing Cotton Eye Joe.
Okay, no, not that, and
And
not we're
like
not talking about Sora.
all different types of
Maybe it could be the same
styles.
guy, but anyhow, there are people out there who are publishing and making money from doing AI slop. Um, and like having fun with it in a, like the worst kind of way, right? Not making good songs, but making good, reasonably good songs out of crappy lyrics and whatever. So I mean, like it's been around for a moment. Um, I thought maybe there definitely some songs that I've already created that would be good for music videos. I created a bunch for OG just as like a thought experiment, and I was messing around with different styles. I was learning like how I could best craft up when I have a thought about a style that I hear in my head, like how I would create that prompt and work that out to figure out how to get it to generate the way I want. Um, and so I put an idea as like I wanted to create like a rap about OG, right? Because we have history and we have like I know all the things. I created some pretty good raps. I created some really funky songs. I think one of them I'm going to use as an opener for this week's recording. Um, and yeah, I created some good stuff out of it. Then I really like doing EDM chill wave vibe, like a little pop, sort of like semi pop EDM chill wave stuff. And I applied that and tweaked the lyrics a little bit, and I created my same lyrics about OG into a love song, and it's so creepily good. um, so yeah, I'm having fun, and that's the key thing. Um, yeah, and that's I don't have any grand intent. I'm not going to be making money off of it. I'll might use it a little bit in the podcast for stuff, and if I was a little more actively in A&V stuff, I'd probably use some of the stuff I created, or I create songs for me to use, music for me to use in A&Vs. So I did one post on TikTok where it was probably like the Saturday night after I was messing around with it. And I did tag it as AI generated, right? So like, because the music was, I wasn't AI generated, but the music that it was playing, like, from the perspective of, you know, from my desktop here. Um, so like I had this good lyric hook in my head. So I wrote some lyrics out. The idea of like a love song idea. And then it's like, I'm not into rock ballads, but it's like, all right, I want you to write me a rock ballad. And I gave it structure. And it took the lyrics, and it has a guy singing, and then it duetted it and layered it where the lyrics that I wrote, it expanded on it and it intertwined the conversation in the song of them singing to each other. And the result was amazing. And then then I made a couple like pop songs out of it, and those are really good too. So yeah, I don't know. I had some good ideas. Like one idea was I was thinking about um, so okay, we know people on YouTube, right? We know people on TikTok. There are kind of different styles of content creation, right? You'll get people who are like the extreme. You get people who are really full of it on TikTok, right? Or they're really like genuine, right? That seems to be mostly the extreme. Or they're selling you something, right? Those are like the three styles of content you get. Or okay, fourth, completely useless, where they're mouthing someone else, right? They're reacting, right? Or they are dancing, which is what the original part of what TikTok was about. They're just showing off something about themselves. They're cooking, they're dancing, their food, whatever. But on YouTube, it used to be all organic, original, genuine people, and then now it's like, I'm gonna talk about this phone, and I'm a shill for the marketing because I got free stuff and I make money from this. Right? There's a lot of disgenuine people that have a career on YouTube that do that stuff. Right? Um, and then there are people they started out to be for a genuine use case, and now that they're air quotes an influencer and they make a lot of money, they're still shilling for things, whether they're being honest about it or not. And so I was thinking about this genuine food reviewer. And I wrote this idea, some lyrics around this idea of a food reviewer that, you know, with the idea that they're famous and that really that the underneath truth is that they're doing the food review for the clicks, the follows, the subscribes, right, for their channel. And they are saying they really love something where they probably have more critique on it than that they're, saying on camera that they post, right? So I wrote this thing, I called it Dinner for Two. And I put little things in there, and the two, or dinner for you, the you was one of my phrasings, was talking about the viewer. And I put phrasing in there like, about your clicks, your subscribes, and, your thoughts on my review. And it did an amazing, and I told it to be jazzy, and it did an amazing job. And then one of those versions, it made a duet out of it, where it had two people, a woman and a guy singing. So I'm very impressed by the kind of stuff it's been spewing out based with my guidance. I tried some generic stuff and the results were terrible. So I think it really does take, I'm not saying I have talents, but you definitely have to know how to get the best out of it, right? And so while it can generate some great AI slop that's going to be popular, it does take a little bit of an effort to kind of get it to do what you would like it to do. Yeah. On their website.
Did you write the lyrics, or was that also generated?
I wrote. I have lots of. I started keeping them in Google Keep. Yeah, I write a lot of the core lyrics in the chunks that I know are going to be wrapped around in the style, and it'll gap fill a little bit, or it'll extend. So I have stuff where I have a chunk of lyrics. My problem has been you only have so much room on the prompt. So there is a mode where you can write the whole lyrics, and then you have lots of room on the style. And so I could do that. I did that a couple times. And I prefer sort of kind of blending both together because I can put in the style and say, okay, I want you to make these, so if I have like let's say I have female vocals who are rapping to a certain style, like hip hop. And then I'll say clever, whimsical, flirty with regards to blah, blah, blah on the beats, and it will assemble it pretty well. So I think what this thing is really good for is creating a spec, meaning laying out a demo idea, then going and creating the demo idea. And then, if you're a professional songwriter or a producer, you can use that as a quick way to sell. And then when you go into production, you actually create the actual backing tracks. So I think this is a good way to prototype ideas out. Or if you're in a game, okay, so this is where when you get into monetization, as what I paid for, I paid annual. I paid like $100 for the year, or for a year, not the year, a year. I have copyright wherever that copyright loosely fits, right?
Whatever that means to those people.
Yeah, to that people and to where it's all going to play out in the world today. that being said, I'm having fun, right? And any of the creative projects that I do, I don't monetize. So, not in okay, podcast. Now it's Patreon, but like we have like a few dozen compared to our tens of thousands. People don't like to pay
Hmm.
anything. They don't like
Did,
to pay a dollar a month.
did you hear that there was a guy? I think there was also one at Otakon. Um, there was one at Dragon Con that got booted out. One of the Artist Alley people. They were just full on selling generated shit
Interesting.
as
Yeah, no,
like
I
prints of like stuff.
yeah.
That's like drop shipping but worse.
Oh, okay. Um, so not
I
that
think
we're
at Dragon
having
Con they even called the police. They got him kicked out.
not that. So just a point, not to defend anything, because like I said, I'm having fun, right? But we've been using generative tooling in Photoshop and definitely in the music. That early stuff, right? So Adobe created that sort of voice emulation stuff a long time ago, like maybe 15 years ago, and they demoed it. It was incredibly impressive, and then they decided to not release it because they thought there would be damaging concerns to their business from an ethical perspective if someone misused it. Um, Not that people don't misuse Photoshop today, anyways.
But
Um,
but yeah, well,
yeah. So we've
then there
been
were the Sam Altmans who don't give a fuck.
right, but in music software for more than 10 years, and even in Photoshop, there has been a lot of generative, based on very concise AI models. But that stuff has been going on for a long while. Loops, a lot of the beats and stuff, and then I went on a whole little bit of a rant with you outside of the recording, which is, artists have been stealing from each other, sampling, manipulating for a long time. So while there is there is really no honor among thieves, no matter how you look at it, including AI slop.
There's a difference between wholesale just importing everything into something that generates like with regards to copyright and ownership of what you do, whatever you think about copyright, right? There's a big difference. There's also a point where you're basically reducing the originality of anything that's being put out.
Yep.
Like
Well,
it's what they call that's why they call it slop, because it's recycled all
right.
the way around and it's feeding on itself now, which is giving some very interesting results with the Jesus that is a shrimp or something like that. There's like lots of that kind of stuff going around at the moment.
Yeah, there's lots of weird.
But yeah.
I forget.
I'm just saying that in the like there's a difference between something that Adobe did with like the generative fill or like to fix things, right? Clean up scratches and that kind of stuff, and wholesale generating. Like I don't like that Adobe is doing this, right? I don't like that they have the generating stuff now. I don't use it. I use Adobe for stuff.
Yeah, I don't
but
use it.
I don't use it for
right.
my artwork. Right? There's the way they are training these things. It's not ethically good. I think there's a big problem there. There's also, they don't have consent of the people that created those things. Like, I'm talking purely from art perspective, right? So,
well, that's a good point. So let me just.
So if there was like a, if you're talking about generative fill, right, or you're talking about a cleanup tool, right, and you have as the source of your data anything you have that you're working on, right? So you have the source photos that it's using. You have the source drawings, let's call that, or you have the source musical instruments. You have these rhythms and stuff that you have collected that you've built yourself or whatever, and you're using that to generate stuff, and it's constructing it from the stuff that you made, right? And it's just using patterns and stuff that it knows of, like for example, rhythms or melody lines that it can generate, right? Or a voice generator that they trained of source material that is consenting, or your own voice model. You can build your own voice model. I have less problems with that kind of construction than when it has all the sausage being forced into a model that is completely unethical and so huge that it burns half a forest whenever it generates a fucking image. And so, I'm exaggerating this, of course, but like
I know you are.
But so, the problem here is not just the it's the source material and the way it's being used and the way that the people who use it behave. So there's like, for example, there was a guy that was thrown out at Dragon Con. He started asking, I think he reached out to them on Instagram afterwards to other people. And he was like, yeah, have fun staying poor. I sold so many thousands of dollars of shit. Like that kind of behavior is just not, and that's the same kind of behavior we saw from the NFT crowd, the crypto crowd. These are the same type of people who do this shit.
There's no repercussions for what they're doing, and then they're being unethical about it. But that being said,
but it's these types of companies, like the Sam Altmans, right? These types of things are what's going on. That's the type of person you're dealing with. Those are the types of people that build these things because they think that that eternal sausage that is feeding on itself is not going to bite them in their butt at some point.
There's no accountability. We used to, at least in the U.S., didn't allow monopolies. Right? We didn't allow the consumption of every company merged into every company, and then where they're gutted out. And, we used to do that. We as a culture, as a government, have not been doing that. That's not critique. That's just the reality of what's been going on. And so we've allowed sort of tech companies to be incredibly unchecked, and financial companies completely to be unchecked here in the U.S. And we used to govern it a little bit at a reasonable level, not always, but we stopped doing that. And whether the culture is complaining about it, and privacy, right? You can get an old privacy argument. But anyhow, so I just wanted to put some two thoughts in. Again, this has sort of always been my issue, but for me, messed around in AI. I will say that occasionally when I'm writing a document, I'll go ahead and say, Copilot, okay, rewrite this and get its perspective. But it's using my material, and it's using its training from others, exactly like it makes melodies and all that other stuff. It's using the training of words and training of other people's writing to go ahead and slop it around and give me a better phrasing or a better consolidation of when you're doing your resumes for each job. It's stealing from others to bring that thinking in to restructure that. It's still the same thing. Yes, I know.
How do you know it's not stealing from you?
Oh,
which is what it's doing. Yeah.
Right. And I always have this little concern about my podcast that I bet you there's going to be one day someone's going to be, you have got plenty from me. You could train my voice from just our voices. You could make the whole podcast out of 20 years of content.
There's one IP range from an Israeli company.
Yeah.
that has been rating our thing for a very long time.
Yeah. But also in the same respect, and again, there are gray areas. They're not all. So when you're at Otakon, we've written it into the thing that anyone can take pictures of anything, right? And that's written into when you become a member that they can take a picture of you as your cosplay, right? And So that's built in. So we want the freedom of people to share. But when you're out on the street, you got street photographers who sell street photography, and they take a picture of you without you knowing, and they sell that. They Photoshop it, they sell it, they print it out, and they call it original creation. And you don't own those pictures
Well,
of all the places
there's a whole problem with photography and
All right,
and
but I'm just
copyright.
saying this is another example of dishonest, unethical practices in art. Same thing goes with music makers. If they're not generating them, they're buying royalty. They're buying libraries. Sometimes they buy royalty-free libraries, right? And those, I say libraries, where where they buy commercial ones from these companies, right? Okay, great. They own to be able to reproduce it, but then you get people who take others' music, distort it in such a way so it's 12% over the copyright, and that they can call it their own as a transformation. And then what they do is they put them in their rap backtracks and stuff like that, and they layer them. They distort it so much, then they distort them together, and they just essentially taken your creation, your content, and claimed it as original.
Well,
And
I
new.
think there's a difference, right? So if you're talking about sampling, right? Like for example, what Daft Punk does. Have you heard of Daft Punk? Apparently,
I've heard
very
Daft
very
Punk.
hip at the moment because apparently it's in Fortnite now.
Well, they're done as a group. They're not. There's no
Yeah,
more
yeah, yeah.
Daft
But
Punk.
like what they were doing, like they were using samples from old records,
Right.
and then
So Fatboy Slim, that's exactly what he
reassembling
did.
them, and
Yeah.
then like, but that's their
But the
what they
legal
are
gray
doing.
area,
They are building something completely
right?
new, right? Although the samples may be different. Like it's the same thing with trackers in the past. Like you had the way you made music, the digital music, like trackers, like what's the
I
fast
did
tracker,
that.
that kind of stuff, right?
I did Mixman. I did created a bunch of stuff. So I forgot. I used to create
But
with
anyway,
Mixman and
you use
stuff.
samples. Like you're not
Yeah.
like you're not strumming a guitar on the digital thing, right?
Right.
Now these days it's a lot easier, but at least you're creating the melody. You are creating the that's that you're using an instrument.
Right. I where my gray area is. This is all gray area. I think it's all very unethical, especially when people sort of state it as original creation and they're not honest or forthcoming. And there's a lot of artists that are exactly that. They are not forthcoming. That they were inspired by or something, right? Olivia Rodrigo, I think got popular on TikTok. She's made some good songs that got really popular with her age group. And so where people had said, oh, well, it really sounds like this song with your different melodies and lyrics on top. And she goes, yeah, I really love, I listened to that record with my father or whatever it is. And yes, but she's forthcoming. She's not claiming or fronting like she's something special and she's a genius. And also in the music industry, it's a business. So you basically, especially if you become famous, you get producers who shop almost winning hit songs to you, and whoever buys first gets it, and then they'll work with you to create the track and make your song. There's a guy on TikTok, I don't know his name, but he sits down with Benny Bianco a lot and some other artists, other producers who made a lot of hits. And in their creative process, he talks about, oh yeah, we shopped this one song to, we were shopping this song around, and this guy from Maroon 5, Adam something, whatever that guy's name is, really, really loved this song, and his record company didn't want him to make it, and so we ended up creating something brand new for him, and that was his hit, right? And so, the way the industry works is there's few creative people. There's mostly performance and production in the music business.
It's like
Even
fun
Taylor,
thing.
even
funny.
Taylor Swift doesn't write most of her songs. She might contribute to the effort of it.
I don't think you want the smoke. I don't think you want to go
but
there.
well,
I
look,
think saying anything about her is a bad idea.
we got like 65 people. But my point is, I still like the music. That isn't my point. My
Alan
point
is
is
canceled.
My point is that everyone gets on their high horse about all this stuff, and I'm like, there's been a lot of unethical things going on for a long while, and
But it
the
doesn't mean you
AI
need to add
slop
to it.
is just a new generation of how it's getting made up.
But it
And you're
doesn't
right.
mean you need to add to it.
Yeah. So, but also in the same respect, like the people who are creating are very not. Most of us are. Our life experience is our model training, right? And we steal ideas and thoughts because that was something we enjoyed in the past.
Monkey see, monkey do.
Yep.
But like I tried just I hate the Google AI, by the way. It's the worst. It's the worst of them all. So I just Googled, does Billie Eilish use AI? You know what the response was from the Google AI? Oops, something went wrong.
Oh, that's probably more of a Google thing.
Yeah,
So
it's the worst.
That's an example of her and her brother Phineas. They just create, right?
They're
And
super talented people.
Yeah, but is Phineas using and sampling and doing lots of stuff in the back end to get to his goals?
There's
probably, but I don't think he's using he might be using, sort of standard like Ableton software and generating stuff out of that, which is coming from AI models, right? Because it's been there for a long while. This isn't a new thing. And it's not fed by OpenAI or anything. But to the point is they craft music. Everything they do, they put 100% effort in. That is unique to them, right? She sings that track 100 times and she comps, right? That's the thing where you take the little slices of most successful iterations of her vocals and they compile it together, and then she re-emulates that when she performs, right? But it's all original coming from her. Or at least it's original through her as a model of training as an LLM.
very disappointed.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm having fun, and I think I produced some really good things out of it, and I really enjoyed the experience of having a thought and sitting down for a while and writing a bunch of lyrics and then crafting out different variations. It's been enjoyable. So that's all I'm saying. Yeah. So that's what I've been doing, and that took 35 minutes.
Alan is using the clankers.
Yeah.
You know that?
Have
you heard of that term before?
No.
They're starting to use the term clanker for a slur for AI slop. It's like an AI bot that generates.
Yeah,
stuff.
I mean,
or like a Google AI or like a
right.
assistant. They call them clankers because they are robots, and they misunderstand you. It's like it's really close to something really bad, and it's super 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 scary.
Yeah. And then the whole Sora stuff, that's what the hell. And people are like, it looks really realistic. And I looked at some people that have made some stuff, and I'm like, I can tell that's
is like
very
two
AI.
steps away. This is 2 steps away from the whole Jesus in the shape of shrimps, or shrimp in the shape of Jesus stuff. This is that close to it. It's that bad.
It's pretty bad, but it's also it's impressive, but it's also pretty bad.
But then again, the U.S. has a president that is sharing this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
so, you know.
I want to play with it just out of curiosity, see what I can do with it, for no any intended purpose other than to play with it. But I don't want it to scan my face and do the whole thing.
Oh yeah, that's the worst part.
More importantly,
I saw the video from
my old phone just had cameras in it. This one definitely has the LiDAR or whatever those little sensors.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I mean it definitely has depth perception in this phone.
Like, you could say a lot about Apple, right? But Apple has been really holding very back on that kind of stuff, right? So
No,
they
they
had the
failed
Gen Modi.
internally. They failed internally, tried to design good products out of it, and they haven't been doing well.
I think
That's
that
why
they
we haven't
found
released
that
anything.
it was not very, very useful. But I don't know what's going on internally there. But like a lot of the whatever they deliver, right? So they don't do it like Microsoft is doing it. Microsoft is saying, "Hey, you're getting an AI on your machine," right? They are scanning everything, right? Apple has been very holding back on that as far as we can see, right? But they have
Well,
always have like for Siri, you can turn it off easily. Just go in there, click on the button, turn it off. And for Microsoft, it's like we don't know if it's on or not. Like
yeah, that's the one
the whole
thing.
thing with the Copilot thing, that was
Yeah, that the
that
thing
was
is,
super
I
bad.
can't. I can quit it, but it doesn't really quit. It just stays there.
I don't think it's even allowed here in the Netherlands.
Yeah, it just sits here in Windows. Now, could I probably find the executable and identify it and then actually
They
kill
added
it?
it to Notepad.
Hmm.
They added it to freaking Notepad.
I will say I like the
They need
spell
to
check in
stop
Notepad.
doing this shit.
I like that they have it in the. But also, it's like with people with me with the Tesla. Like, is your car really? No. Go to the fucking market. I'm driving to the fucking market. I don't need my car to do it for me. Right? If I'm in unknown territory in a long road trip, it's good to have that on because it provides extra awareness and it will respond to aggressive sloppy drivers. Um, and
Sloppy drivers, huh?
yeah, okay, yeah, but I would say that the awareness and intelligence on that is like you're not generating anything out of it. It's being a utility. It's being a tool. Aside from
Well,
you know
it's
the
using it for detection, right? So a lot
yeah,
of
yeah.
the LLM stuff, a lot of
And I
the
will say when I went to DC, I just as the experiment, I was like, all right, I'm gonna. Most of the time, like it wasn't making quick decisions in a right way, like getting off. It would just hesitate till too long until it'd be a problem to pull off. And now it was like it took the road, took me off, took me where I needed to go, and I was mostly hands off on it. There's only a couple times where I did disengagements. Outside of that, it's really phenomenal. And so that's AI can serve a purpose in those ways, and that's very good. That's not a bad thing as far as I'm
yeah,
concerned.
but we've
The
had
way that people misuse it is, hands off whether they're getting it on in the car, and like that I don't like.
Hmm.
I don't like the
Yeah.
misuse of it. You know.
Did
Um,
you see the stuff with the
Also,
detection thing where they if you hold up a cup it ignores everything else. It just
what in
says
Tesla?
no. There's a image object detection algorithm thing
Okay.
that was at a trade show I think where they showed that
No,
where
I
they
don't
had
know.
like a you can trick those if you put some stuff in the source material like and you train it and you
Oh,
train it
what?
and you can hide stuff in there to trick it into ignoring certain things that if you for
Yeah.
example walk onto the into a building wearing a hat with a specific logo on it or a specific QR code or just a specific shape, it detects it and then completely ignores anything that's happening in the
Right.
video.
I will say I've seen people repurpose content and they put a line split. Looks like a something is wrong. It's a line split.
Oh, the one on TikTok. Yeah. That's so
Yeah.
bad.
So
They
so
put
so it
entire
does.
fucking movies on there.
Yeah. Yeah. So in the case of just informing, not fanboying. In the case of Tesla, they have the cabin camera. So if you block that, you can't turn autopilot on. They have a little nagging thing where it reads resistance, and newer ones have newer sensors in there to make sure that there's weight, there's grip on the thing, and that there's a person. So if you look away, while autopilot is running, it will yell at you and it'll disengage autopilot entirely. And they'll put you in autopilot jail until you end your trip.
Good.
And they do this stuff because people do bullshit things, right? They misuse stuff. And the early stuff where people are like, there was one guy, he finally got caught, but he would fully extend back his seat in his Tesla and was like really proud that he figured out how to get it to drive everywhere for him, and he was napping. Then there are people who are like, oh, I'm going to totally get blitzed and get drunk, and my car will take me home. Now they have the robo-taxis, but that's a different thing. You pay for that to do that, where you don't have control over the car.
Yeah,
right?
but there's a good that is a good example of how you can use it
and abuse
in an
it.
ethical and a constructive way.
Yeah. So
anyway,
there's always that, and yeah. So anyhow, okay, off the topic. That's 40 minutes, 42 minutes.
Yeah, you said you were gonna just do a couple of things, and
well, we had back and forth on it, and I know people get a little, but also in the same respect. I remember the days where people are like, I don't need a cell phone. I'm never doing it. I don't never. I was like, yep. Once you figure it out, you'll find a way that it's going to be useful to you. Now, it's very much integrated in everything we do in life. You can't not have a cell phone. Even at work, I have to do MFA on things. I need my cell phone, right? Or you can use an iPad. Doesn't matter. My point is that we need extra devices that kind of authorize and qualify things nowadays. Mm-hmm. So it used to be there was, maybe 10 years ago, there was a time you didn't necessarily need a cell phone. But the people who were I think of my stepmother. I don't need any of that. Blah, 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 blah. Now she can't. She can't be disconnected from her iPad, her iPhone, and absolutely that same person says, hey, gives you all the warnings of everything is, the world's going to die over the cell phone. And now everyone's like, yeah, cool. We're chill. Right. So time changes, things evolve. Maybe it'll get worse. It's on the path to be worse. Maybe it'll be better. Maybe some good things will come out of it. I don't know. But that being said, I don't we have Copilot for work, and some of my coworkers are like, oh, I love using it. I said, yeah, but how long did you spend? You spent days attaching context and stuff that generated code that you didn't work out, right? Yeah. I said, look, it gets in my way. I know what I'm doing. I'm doing it. It's in my way. It's like, here's the whole page. Hit tab. No. I have to turn you off so I can type my thing. And then when I'm done, I might go in and say, okay, give me your point of view on this. Just curious to see what it'll do. And usually when it generates code, I look at it and go, I wouldn't hire that junior developer, right? There's no critical thinking. There's consolidated thinking in it. So it's a tool that you can use to be useful, but you have to create the structure for it to understand, for it to be useful. That's when it's good.
I think
the rest of the time it's not. It's what was it? Vibe coding? Yeah, not a productive product.
The thing here is, let's say, if you could have somebody put in the struts, the things that have to happen in this certain way all the time, right? There's a bunch of foundational things that need to be done that is drudgery that doesn't need to be done by a person, that can just be, hey, let's start a new project, and it puts the files in there already. You could
we have templates and scripts that do that.
Yeah,
us.
Of course. But that's what we had in the past and what we have been using. I think there could be a good idea for that kind of stuff, for stuff that doesn't need to be done by a person. However, when you get to things like, for example, tests, unit tests, understanding what it's actually doing. I have, from experience, I cannot say where, seen things where this goes very bad. So where
Right.
people are using this to generate things, and like it causes fraud to happen,
Right.
and
Uh,
you are
it,
the difference is the problem is that people are not responsible. They don't think they are responsible for
right.
whatever they chuck online.
I had a
And
friend where she had her best friend's mother call her and say, "Oh my God, my daughter's in jail." And it's like, no, it's AI, right? So yes. So I
no,
don't
no, I'm
think
talking about they put something online that is so leaky, like the stuff that McDonald's was doing, right? And they were like adding $10,000 of chicken nuggets to their every meal, right? That kind of stuff. They
oh,
don't think about this kind of thing and what the consequences could be because they don't have the experience. They're just
right.
chucking whatever was on Stack Overflow onto their live production
Yeah,
within
yeah.
minutes.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. And that's
you're
that's
dumb.
terrible.
You're a
You should
moron.
always double check everything. I
And
don't think
that's the worst part
I guess
because
my
it is
my
generated
consolidation,
from it's generated from existing things.
right.
It might look good and you might not initially see this, but then it turns
Right. It
out
replaces
where it could be good, like with the supply chain attacks, for detecting and again this is detecting, not generating,
right.
um, malware, right?
Mhm.
Finding stuff like that. But then again, you'd still need some hard coded stuff because it cannot always see that it's good at finding interesting things, right? But it will never capture everything.
Right. My kind of perspective on this is that I don't think inherently AI as a tool is evil. I think it's the ethical issues that people are it's the ethical things that people are doing with it and how they're getting the tool to function. Um, and yes, you need a lot of training data of everything from everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say also even like if you pick up a guitar and you liked a lot of certain artists, right, from when you're sort of stealing little ideas that you liked, you didn't ask uh, Led Zeppelin's consent. You just sort of stole it in that lick, and then you might twist it a little bit. You might be stealing a whole set of chords from somebody, but then you think your melody over on top of it and your lyrics make a big change, right? This is kind of what happens. People are inspired by others. I used to see this a lot in AV stuff where sometimes people even literally picked up scenes that I did motion graphics for and I did all kinds of stuff. And at some point, I started watermarking. And so what people do is they just steal entirely, or I remixed a song. They just steal my track. Now, what am I doing? Is I'm recutting and I'm doing something. I'm making something out of someone else's work. Yes, but I'm not claiming any original rights to it. But people come along and they go, "Oh, I like that. Let me take that."
Well, there's a
And
difference between fair use and you know.
right, but it's intent, right? The intent is I know what I'm doing is shitty, so I'm going to do it anyways because I want whatever I want. My accolades were more important to me than the repercussions, right?
I hope that everybody who uses this kind of stuff has all the AI bots applaud for them because they're just as, useful,
Yeah.
and it's
But
just as
anyhow, all right.
meaningful.
Well, AI conversations, we really haven't had it, so here we go. So all right, that's done. That's for me. So you and Meshtastic.
Yep. I've been sending. I sent Alan a meshtastic
I
node.
do. I should
He has a Heltec V3.
have it back there.
And I'm probably gonna help him flash it at some point.
Yep. I should disconnect some things that other ESP modules and stuff that I have, because I've wiped out some things and I'm like, ah, crap.
I did something similar yesterday.
Yeah,
where
I was like,
oops.
I thought I only had the one thing, and I think, I do. I don't know if I have the Home Assistant.
So I had
voice.
the ESP Home stuff set up.
Yeah.
To build like controllers to
Yeah.
build those things, and it wanted to send it to the thing that was hooked up to my Home Assistant machine,
No.
and it went to a serial connection. I was like, oh, is this the thing? Okay, and I looked at it, and then when I wanted to open it to select something different, it just started working. So I was like, what the hell is going on here? So it was trying to write over the serial connection to my Zigbee adapter. So it was like,
That's bad.
So I was like already looking for the firmware, and then because Home Assistant said, I can't find anything here. So I was like, oopsie.
I think you said what, Sky Connect. I have one, and I also have one on the Raspberry Pi Yellow. So I don't know if it uses both of them or not.
Anyway, so I hooked it up. I restarted the Home Assistant, and then it came back. So it was fine. It's just, it was a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
As for Home Assistant, as for Meshtastic, there's been a lot of like rumblings. There's an alternative called Meshcore. I'm not a fan of the way that people are promoting Meshcore, especially one of the YouTube creators who's like very negative about anything Meshtastic. So they're like they found their new thing to complain about, and their new thing is much better. And like, okay, I don't think that you should be doing it this way. I think you should be. This is
like the dishonest YouTubers I was talking about.
Try to be constructive and hey, there's a problem with Meshtastic with this thing. Okay, great. And there's another tool called Meshcore that solves it this way. Okay, great. We can learn from each other.
Right.
Instead of like trying to create drama and saying, "Oh, it is so bad," and blah blah blah. I'm like, okay. Right.
Let me pause you for a sec. Let me run to the bathroom. Sorry. I'm gonna be squirming.
Mid-sentence. Really?
It's my fruity drink.
Yeah, it's going straight through him. Now the question is, am I going to keep this running? So should we wait until he returns? I'm currently looking at a chair with I don't know. It looks like some kind of electrical wire running out the side, and there's like a hoodie behind him. Well, behind the chair. So I'm staring at the Allen chair. And there's some Clorox wipes in the back, I think. So, yeah. It's a black chair. I don't know where it's from. I don't know. I can't really see the brand. So I'm currently narrating Alan going to the toilet. I can't really hear anything, but let's just be happy about that, I guess. The question is, how long will it take for him to return? And can I keep talking all this time? And is that really interesting? We shall see. So yeah, Meshtastic nodes. I see some movement happening, so he seems to be returning. His
Sorry.
Yeah, his camera keeps moving, so I think he's returned.
Yeah, I'm back.
So what's the brand of the chair?
A Rosie?
A Rosie.
It's not Secret Labs, or what's the other one?
A Secret Labs knockoff. I was narrating you going to the toilet. So
well, that's great podcasting for everyone. So these are only like less than $300, and they're really comfortable.
Okay, we've talked
Secret Labs was it's like $800, $1,000 a chair. I'm sure they're fantastic, but I'm not paying that kind of price for just a chair, right? Like I want a nice chair, a little better than a gaming chair. I had that one. I even had it here. No, that's not true. These came with me to the house.
You should get one of those very expensive ones, the Herman Miller.
Oh no. One,
like,
they might be comfortable, but they're just, I can't function in that. The only thing I did to this chair is when I hurt my back, I got a heating pad, and I sort of strapped it to the chair.
So that's the electrical wire that's running up the side of it.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
I was
so
talking about
I
talking about what the electrical wire might be.
And I don't have it connected or anything, but like I hurt my back, and for those 2-3 months, I was like, I need something, and so that's what I did. I just sort of left it on. I don't know why. I just sort of it's not doing anything.
I hope it's not broken, and suddenly like it toasts you or something.
Heating pad's fine. Oh no, the old chair. No. Yeah,
no. This one that it burned you when you sit on it and you turn it on finally in the winter.
No, it had the wire's all just like roped over on the side here. It's just hanging. It's not connected to anything.
So meshtastic.
Meshtastic, yes.
Yeah.
Go down your rabbit hole.
Okay, so I gave Alan a Heltec V3, and at some point I'm gonna help him set it up. I had to remotely set up a meshtastic node with somebody who had to reflash the firmware for something because he messed up the Wi-Fi connection. So as soon as he after flashing it, it was fine. But I had to then help him reconfigure stuff. So that was a bit of a pain in the ass. It took me like half an hour to get everything ready. But I've been playing with those meshtastic nodes for like 3/4 of a year, like almost a year, I think. Then when I first started playing with them, and I've put out a bunch of solar nodes, and at some point they all start failing, right? So there's something not right with the way I configure them or the way I set them up. And I've been using these cheap hobby solar panels, like from AZ Delivery. There's like a brand that has a lot of stuff on Amazon here, or Scamazon as I like to call it from time to time. They have they're not very powerful, and they're not powerful enough to charge the battery to full if you don't have enough sunlight on them, and they turn very dull at some point, which also reflects more light. So that causes issues with the amount of power that it puts into the battery. And if you have a battery, a solar controller for it, that takes some power. It reduces the amount of power available to the battery
and heat as well.
To the device.
Will generate heat.
Yeah, but that's negligent. That's you can ignore that.
Yeah,
you can ignore that. Yeah. So then I noticed that there's like a little. I think it's similar to like a dollar store, like cheap crap stuff. And there's a YouTuber called Big Clive, and he goes to like those kind of shops to find like the secret the Santa dancing Santa thing, and it takes it apart and it looks at the electronics, or like battery banks with a very specific like Chinesium garbage that he takes apart and then looks at the circuit boards and stuff. I was looking at their website to see if I can find a better source for the solar panels I wanted to get off Amazon, because there's lots of like solar panels you can use for like external cameras. We have the battery powered cameras, UFI and that kind of stuff. They have like a bunch of those, and you have like solar panels you can just put them above them, or like on the roof, or just in the sun.
But they're all like $100 something here.
The cameras, yes, but I'm talking about the solar panels.
Oh no, the solar panels. Like I was looking for ones from Meshtastic just out of curiosity. They're all like 100, 120, 130.
Wow. Okay. So I bought. So they are like $29 on Amazon here.
Yeah.
29 euros. For like one of those USBs.
They might also include the node and some other stuff. But anyhow, sorry.
Oh, you're looking at Meshtastic nodes.
Meshtastic devices, solar panel. I'm looking at one.
Oh yeah, those are whole things. No, you want to build
repeaters.
Them. You want to build your own. You want to build.
So there's a rack wireless solar panel JST connector, $12, $13.
Okay, so
sorry. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
These panels like that come from like the AC Delivery, they're okay solar panels. You just want to put them in like parallel, and then stack them up a little bit so you have a little bit more power. But I wanted something that had a bit of power on its own that I could use for something. And I saw a floodlight. A floodlight you could put outside, and it had a solar panel on it. I thought the solar panel was maybe like this big, like a smallish solar panel that you use for like those cameras. I bought it. I bought 3 of them, but they were a bit bigger than I expected, and also a bit more powerful than I expected. And they came with like a lithium iron phosphate battery in it, so that was also kind of fun. So I have more crap that I can use for meshtastic nodes for my raid using to one of those dollar stores. And then it's called Action, and they had like these solar panels, and they're these solar things, but they come with like connectors, so you can just cut off the connector from the floodlight part, and you can reuse the floodlight for something else. I have not found a way to get the glass off the floodlight because that's the only way in. It's completely shut off except for the power, where the power goes through. So I had to unscrew the power connector, cut off the wires, and then I wanted to get inside of the floodlight to get to that thing, to see what was in there and see if I could salvage a lithium cell or something, whatever else is in there. But they're using lithium iron phosphate, which is kind of fun because I haven't played with those yet. So, and they are less prone to explodey. So that's kind of good, especially if you're putting stuff on a roof somewhere in the summer. But so far, I like these panels so far. They have glass on the front, which is also pretty nice, and they have a photography mount in the back, so you can just stick one of those clamps on there, and then even just hook up the node to the solar panel. If I could, I would send you a pre-made node that you can use, but I think that would probably get taken in by some mysterious government agency. What are you sending? What is this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking at panels now while I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, I think for you, for Meshtastic, I think for the Heltech, just start playing with it. See how many people you can find.
Yeah, I mean, you assume that there are people around here.
Yeah, I know that there are people around you, so I already looked at the Meshtastic maps. Yes.
Is it like in my town?
Last time it was not in your town, but you're on a hill, so you should be able to see more than let's say somebody in the middle of Philadelphia.
So I intend to just put it sort of up adjacent to this window here. Yeah. I'm hoping that's going to be enough. And to your point, I think earlier was like probably not. Only people in sort of directionally, near your window, right, or passing by. But this wouldn't be good for putting in the car or anything, right?
There's people who have car nodes.
Okay, but it has to be a light. Has to be sign. Like, yeah, it to be line of sight. That's the phrasing I was looking for.
Line of sight, but they are like people who use them as trackers. So you can put a GPS node on it.
I don't have to worry about that. My whole car does that.
Yeah. So I'm looking at your area.
Yeah.
So let's see.
There's for $140. There's one that has a pole and everything.
There's one
with solar panels.
Where okay, so I got Valley Forge. I don't want to say too much about where you live, right? So
you could say King of Prussia because that's what I've always said. Okay, everywhere.
So there's somebody in Conshohocken.
Conchi, yeah, okay.
There's one in
they're not line of sight for me right now, no.
There's somebody in Philadelphia, and there's another one in Philadelphia.
Obviously that wouldn't work. That would be too far away.
Actually, there's like, you could get pretty far with these things. Like 120 kilometers, I think, is the record.
Oh, okay.
Or 120 miles. Might be
Yeah,
120 miles.
but that would have to be probably up in a pole where it's like up in
Yeah,
the
yeah,
air
yeah,
or
yeah.
something.
But
Yeah,
like
yeah.
normal, it's like 20 kilometers. It's easy.
Yeah, I mean, there's
So
going to
let's
be
say it's
houses,
15 miles.
so Conchi is uphill for me, so maybe, but there wouldn't be. If I was looking out that window, there's no way for me to be
As
able
long as
to.
you don't set your stuff to router. Don't
Okay,
set your stuff to router. People will get very angry with you.
as you did.
Ask me how I know.
Yeah.
No, but so you do not see all the nodes on meshtastic on the MQTT maps because not everybody set it to okay to MQTT, which allows you to prevent somebody from taking it up into the map. So all those clients, although they see your node, you might see a lot more nodes that are not set up to connect to that MQTT server.
Right.
You can, with the Heltec, I think it might be a good house node, right? Set it to client mute and have it just be listening and not trying to be a router, right? Client also kind of means router. It behaves like it. It sends stuff on.
Well, it's a relay.
It's relaying stuff. It receives, and if you set it to client mute, it doesn't do that. But you can still hook it up to MQTT, which allows you to see what messages come in over long fast, which is the primary channel, and do stuff like see what. So some people use it for like weather stations and other like low traffic stuff. So I think it. Let me see how your alignment is. I think I've found you already. Yeah, I think it will mostly be towards the north, right? So looking towards the north, or you're looking towards the south from that room, from that window.
I'm looking east, I think.
Okay, so then it would be there's somebody in Abington Township.
So that
White
window
Marsh?
direction is sort of pushed. It's pushed below Conchi. Conchi would be upwards direction. In Norristown.
But
would
if
be
you put it
further.
like really close to the window, right, you'll get a 170 degrees of view, right? So there's
Okay.
still going to be buildings in the way, but there's some reflection and stuff that happens. So
Well, I'm slightly over. We're not the highest in this area. We're not the highest hill. These houses, but I'm kind of I'm at roof level with. I'm staring at the house across the way, and if I stood up, I would be above. Would definitely be above their roof.
yeah,
So my thinking is that maybe I stick like a panel to the top part of the window that like even when I open it up, it will never get tapped. And I put the lower up there. And I just sort of Velcro it or something. Or
yeah, but it needs to be watertight, so you'd need like a case.
no, I wouldn't put it outside. I keep it in
I
the
think
house.
I think the Heltecs are very good for portable nodes and for like home nodes,
Okay.
right? But if you want to do anything solar, you want to go for the racks with the NF something core. So it's like a motherboard, and you put like stuff on top of it, and it has like a solar charger built in, and like a battery connector, and USB-C, and then you can either flash it. So if you have one of the Raspberry Pis, you can like even just drop the file, the firmware onto like a virtual USB stick, basically, that it mounts as when you connect it to your PC. In the boot node thing. I think in the Netherlands we have about as many nodes as they have in the US. So that's kind of funny. So the spread here is a lot. It's a lot more popular, a lot more nodes in the Netherlands
Mm-hmm.
than there are in let's let's see, how many are there? There's 2,900 nodes in the Netherlands, and when I look at that's the one that the Dutch meshtastic community has collected. I think if I take about an average 1,000, yeah, I think about 2,000 in 2,000 nodes in the U.S. that are
Okay.
reporting themselves, right?
Right.
Like, especially like in the middle of the country, there's like 10 in a state. So,
Well, it's probably one person.
But if you go to,
it's like you are. You're creating a little potato net, mesh.
but like if you look at like for example Texas, right? There's like there's like 400 nodes there, I guess.
Okay.
And then if you go to California, there's like almost 1,200 nodes.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah. That's lots of
Probably
people
mostly
there.
Google, Apple, and Meta employees.
There's a lot of meshtastic nodes in LA. So, well, the general LA area.
Yeah.
And there's lots of people who are connected to MQTT. So, you can even like hook it up to your own MQTT.
I haven't set up a Mosquito server on the Home Assistant. I don't think I have the add-in.
It's super easy.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Yeah, but if you just connect to the meshtastic MQTT,
what about
it comes
security
pre-configured.
for it? Right? What about security for it?
What do you mean?
If I was to connect up Home Assistant to it,
Mm-hmm.
could someone, if they knew the specific stuff, trigger things in my Home Assistant?
If you misconfigure your Home Assistant, that would be a problem.
Okay, so is there any authentication if it was coming into? So
It
what I'm
depends
trying
on
to
what
say
you're
is,
doing with it.
yeah, what I'm trying to get at
you
is
can
if
make your own. You can make your own channels.
Okay.
That you can put a private key on, and then you share that with each other, and then you can do stuff over that network. So you can make your own little network inside of the network.
Got it. Okay.
Just think of the long fast channel as like just a public forum. It's
right.
Open.
Where I was going with this is, I don't have any intention to do anything, right, to trigger anything remotely with it. But if I wanted to understand how that would work. That was it.
Yeah. So there's a bunch of modules for things you can do with it. But that's why I said, let's say, okay, so when you do stuff with it, start with the health tech. It's very easy to start to play with. It's very simple. It's very accessible. And it usually comes with a case. You can just plonk it against the window and it should be fine. And then for if you want to go further, you get to the rack type of stuff, right? Or the LilyGo T-Deck, for example, is it looks like a BlackBerry.
Yeah, I saw that.
You can get those.
Yeah,
you
but
can get those pre-made. They're like $80, and you can just get one with GPS and stuff on that. Well, at least they're $80 over here. I think in the US they're currently they're currently like 4 times the price.
Yeah, they are.
Reasons?
I looked. It's like $230 or something, and
what the hell?
Yeah, here, let me look it up.
I wish I could send you one, but it would be very expensive, I think, because they would probably take it over in.
Okay, so there's the pager version that, and again, I'm just looking at whatever I googled, right? That's 114. The BlackBerry one, the Deck Portable microcontroller, that is okay. That's showing from this place.
No, it's $84.
I'll
send you the link.
73.
I'll send you the link here.
LilyGo, but it's coming from Rokeland, and I don't even know if they're out of the U.S. or where it would drop out of. No GPS, no battery on this one.
This one has a GPS and a battery and a good antenna.
Oh, okay, yeah. That looks nicer.
Yep, and I don't know where it's coming from, so I think
Right.
this might be coming from China.
Of course it would be. Well, so if it says
lilygo.cc.
Yeah, so Black Meshtastic, I don't know what the difference is.
That's the firmware that comes on it. So but what you do is you just plug it in and load your own firmware on it. Done.
Right. Okay.
So they can preload it with meshtastic.
Yeah. This says comes. It comes October 29th, right? So that would be from China.
Yeah.
I'm interested, but I'm not that interested yet. Right.
Yeah.
If I
Yeah.
can, while I'm at home with my Android PC through the app with HealthTech,
Yeah.
see what's out there. That's all I care about right now.
Yeah. And if you hook it up to your network, it will show up in the Android app or in the iPhone app as like a network node. And if you hook up multiple nodes over the network, they can use that to create an ad hoc mesh inside of your network so they can communicate. So if, for example, you have an antenna, like a node on one side of your house and a node on the other side of the house, they cannot hear each other,
Right.
but they can send stuff through UDP over the network to each other and say, hey, I've got stuff.
Yeah. So I
And
might
then
want to do that.
rebroadcast.
I might want to do that with. So I have a mesh node in the garage, and so that's how my car gets updates and stuff, communicates with the house. Um, when it's here. So I have Wi-Fi out there.
You're
And oh, sorry, I moved away. Yeah, it's good why you have a camera. I was like, oh, why are you so quiet? I have a mesh network node right there in the garage, right? And so that's how my car gets, Wi-Fi to get updates and all that. And I also have some micro ESP32s out there in there as well. So I would, with that interest, I would probably set one up, but there would be no line of sight. It would just be in the garage.
yeah. Oh, in the garage.
In the garage.
No, you want to put them outside, as
Right.
near windows, outside, or
Right.
against the window, or something like that.
But I
But-
could put one like in the kitchen window or something, but it's that's the part of the house that's lower than the other houses, right? It would only be useful for someone basically the 6 houses that are perpendicular.
Well, you can make your own little group, your own little network.
right.
put notes
I
with people's-
intend to create an OG or something, some kind of my own net.
You could create your own channel, and you can call something like what I do. I have a Dutch domain name with .nl at the end,
Right.
potatonet.nl, and that's where all my nodes are on. I've
Right.
taken pictures of each node that I put out, and then I. What are you doing?
I'm just seeing. Did you actually put a website out there?
Did
Because
you?
there's a
did you-
potatonet.nl.
This one.
Hold on. Yeah, that's what I'm looking at right now. What is PotatoNet? Nodes. Okay. Gouda. Yeah, this is totally you.
So I've been building a bunch of them with the rack.
Yeah. Okay, got it. So you put antennas up.
I think I have about 15 out there at the moment, and then I have about 20
I'm not
inside the house.
I'm not going to be clamping anything to my roof. I'm not
But
that-
those clamps are really good for like setting up those things, because they're easy to put up and easy to remove, and they kind of weather okay. There's not but if you go beyond like a Heltec, I think going for something, and you want to put something outside and solar powered, then the rack ones are very good. There are some ESP32 ones, but you need a powerful battery for that and a powerful solar panel for that. And then the
So I won't ask
what?
whose houses these are all attached to.
Colleagues and friends.
Yeah.
So if you want to play with it, with the rack ones, I would recommend a rack wireless. So they have like motherboards which are the 1907 and 19007 and 19003, and there's a bunch of other different form factors who have like different kind of connectors, but the 3 and the 7 are very good. That's the ones I use. The 3 is better with solar because it charges properly. And for the 7, there's some versions that have the flipped orientation for the connector. So that would suck if you plug it in wrong and then break that part of the circuit. And there's like solar enclosures for the rack devices that just come pre-made, and you can just stick it in there and then connect a antenna. They also have like a baseboard with an antenna in it for like Bluetooth and for Wi-Fi and for LoRa. So they are building stuff for that. And then there is a little core you put on top of it. So they have a bunch of different cores. They have an ESP32, but you need a separate LoRa radio for that. So you need to buy the ESP32 plus the LoRa radio. However, these things work very well as like home nodes. Like you put them in the roof and either connect to them over Wi-Fi or connect them to power over Ethernet. There's Ethernet adapters for it that do power over Ethernet. And then there's the Raspberry Pi one, so the RP2040, which is like a dual core, tiny little processor. Which has a LoRa radio in it, which is pretty nice. There is the NRF 52840 LoRa thing, which comes with a Bluetooth and LoRa radio. And those are very good low power things, so they are good solar nodes. And you can still configure them using Bluetooth. So you don't have to plug a radio. You don't have to plug in a cable. You can put them up on the roof and then forget about them. And then if you want to reconfigure them, you can just connect over Bluetooth and you should be fine. They don't connect to Wi-Fi because that takes more energy.
Talk to me about connecting the Wi-Fi. So if I connect it to the inside of my house, what's the risk there? What's the security risk?
Well, connecting anything, right?
I know.
There's a risk.
But there's no... It will allow me on my Wi-Fi to connect to it via that network where it's secured for me. But from the LoRa side, it's not extending itself into my network, is it?
Yeah, it's not. So okay. you would need to connect it to like MQTT or something like that. And then you're still just doing it over MQTT. So you're just sending on what it's going over the network wrapped into something that goes over MQTT. So it's not, it doesn't open up a remote control thing unless you build that. So it's just a radio that allows you to listen in on the network and communicate. Okay. But
all right.
And you can always like put it on guest network.
I could, and I guess I would have to have my phone on the guest network though, right? It kind of serves its point of wanting to sit here from in the house to be able to check out what's going on over it.
Yep. And serial and Bluetooth. You can hook up a USB cable and then connect to it. Or you can Bluetooth. Or
okay. Will the Meshtastic app on the phone Bluetooth over to it?
Yeah.
Okay. Then I'll just do that. I won't put it into the Wi-Fi network.
Or you can use Serial to configure it.
Oh, well, I'll use Serial to configure it, but... you mean to patch it, update it.
So you can hook up your phone to it. Over USB.
Yeah, but if I could just communicate with Bluetooth in the house, I'm fine.
Yeah. Well, the range for that is not really great. So
yeah, but it would be from where I'm sitting right now.
Yeah. That would be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have like a bunch of these Heltex that I use for like portable nodes, and I give to people.
I don't know. I'd have to.
They're like $25
what I would want to
thing.
do with the car or something. You know what I mean? I would want probably one that has like a solar panel on it. Just if I can get that. So, but the problem is then it destroy the beauty of my roof.
And you can put them in the
Trunk.
on the hood on the back in the back window.
Okay.
You can have a solar panel there. You can use a solar node. You can get with suction cups, attach it to the thing.
I mean, that might be worth doing. I would totally do that. I got
There's lots of YouTubers and on TikTok people sharing their constructions and printables and whatever.
I might do the suction cup thing. So I don't know if I still have it anywhere, but I got so here in the U.S. we have something called Easy Pass. Probably not all states, but definitely where I live. And it's when you get on and off the turnpike, it reads a signal, whatever it is, you go through. Normally you would hand people money, right? And then the gates would go up or they would let you go. But now they have this thing where it reads it sort of wirelessly. There's no battery pack or anything in it. And then based on that transponder, it knows to charge your account. So they make these little suction cup things that are meant for those little, and that's probably perfect for put one of these in there.
But how are you powering it?
Probably could be enough room to put a battery in there.
Yeah, but how are you powering it then? How are you charging the battery?
Well, you'd have to take it down and charge
be careful
it
with lipos and sun and whatever. So it's more challenging than you think it is, and please do not do it and burn down your car.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I know how that goes. So, but there's lots of different form factor things. If you go to the flasher.meshtastic.org, they have lots of different models that you can choose from. There's lots of options, and they have so in some cases they show the 3D printed cases that they have for them. So they look like this is this type of thing, and they have a case for it. But you can on printables, you can find a lot of cases for meshtastic nodes. You can ask one of the local printers. There's lots of printing services these days where you can just 3D print some stuff. You can ask them, hey, I want this model printed. You can have them even deliver it to your house. There's plenty of those out there now. I'm not sending you a 3D printer.
No.
Maybe at Christmas.
Don't put me into another project.
Yeah. So I've been liking it because it is something that I can play with and I can keep playing with instead of it being dead after I'm done with it, configuring it and never touch it again. Let's, for example, home improvements with Home Assistant or whatever, right? I put in the plug, I bought the thing, and I've installed it, and now it's okay.
Right.
And what do we do with it?
The overall
gathering the data.
The overall conversation with me with Home Assistant is, I found Flash.meshtastic. Oh, it did. It took me over to where I needed to. Okay, good. Yeah, same site. John sent me something. That's why. That's what I was commenting about a moment ago.
Okay, so I, for example, I have hooked it up to my local MQTT on my Home Assistant, and I've been using it to grab battery statistics. Like, for example, my brother's node has been having issues, and at some point he lost battery power and it went dead, and then we got no more data. Another case, there is the one of them at the office that keeps having good battery. It's still using one of those cheap solar panels.
Mm-hmm.
It still sucks. And then there's another example, which is the if I turn on everything, there is the Gouda one, which is the one at the office, and it's working great. It's been having a good battery all the time, and it doesn't go below 90%. So
yeah,
and so that's because I put one of those cheaper solar light charger solar panels on top of it, and it works great.
So what John is showing me on screen, because this is good audio podcast content, is he has all the mesh nodes connected, right? And what he did is he set up the Mosquito MQTT, set that up, and that's communicating over his network, and then that's running back into his home assistant at home. That's reading that stuff probably from a local node that he has in his house.
Yeah, so it's
and so he gets to see the battery information.
So one of my nodes is connected to the local MQTT, so that's doing the graphing and stuff. Yeah. And I have stuff like temperature and pressure and humidity with like different nodes that are doing stuff. So for certain nodes, I have modules on them for temperature and humidity, and one for pressure and temperature. I also found that some of the nodes are those rack sensors are not great for temperature. They're good for like pressure and for humidity, but not for the temperature for some reason. Or there's maybe a bug in the meshtastic firmware that is not giving the right information.
Not reporting it correctly, yeah.
And then I can have like a node information coming in that I'm grabbing. So there's like nodes that pop up and it tells me like there's a guy in my neighborhood that has his email address as his node name. So some people do that.
Yeah, or you could set one up just for that.
Yep. In this case, it was not the case.
Right. I see a Gmail address there. Yeah.
Yeah. So eventually I just emailed him and say, hey, so what's up? You're in my street.
Maybe I'll call it ChaseNet.
Yeah. You could try that. So anyway, that's meshtastic. I think at some point we should have a retrospective of how far you got and how many curses.
Yeah, I mean, I'll put one up. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I think if I was to do anything, I would put it like on one of the top panels, to the window or something.
If you have like nano tape or something like that, you can stick the case to the thing.
I don't. I have Joe's sticky tape or something, which I guess is like a nano tape probably. Yeah, I don't want to. I want to be able to pop it off, obviously.
Yeah.
And to the point about the battery, I don't know where I'd put the battery though.
Yeah, don't put if you're using it if you're powering it through USB, don't put the battery on it.
Oh yeah,
it's not gonna last a day on the battery anyway. Because
really?
32, it's gonna suck the battery drain.
So just use the USB to power it.
Yep.
Okay.
You have a long USB-C cable.
Right there I have an outlet, so I could just put a charger.
Yeah.
That'll work. And then I want to put it in a place when I open up the window, which I do sometimes air out. Sometimes I put a box fan in there, which I have to check the height on that. But
it's just a temporary first steps into meshtastic. It doesn't have to stay there forever.
I'm not planning on mounting racks. Not planning to do that.
We'll see.
And if I do that, there's a cop gonna roll around. It's like, what's that? So.
Yep. You can also use these for, there is a satellite thing. There's a LoRa satellite thing. Open Base Station, I think it's called. Something like that. Something Base Station. But there's like LoRa satellites running around the world. It's mostly on the 433 megahertz band for LoRa. So you can have your own base station on the ground and pick up all the telemetry that comes down from those CubeSats, like the tiny little satellites that they put out there. And but you need to build a separate antenna for that. So
what I'm thinking about,
but you could use you use one of those Heltecs as the receiving antenna.
What's curious is if you put a solar panel and mount it so what I was thinking is that on the Tesla cars we all have glass roofs, so if we could come up with something that suction cups from the inside pointing up,
The problem is the orientation of the antenna.
Okay. So
So a lot of people who do that, they have like a suction cup thing that attaches to the roof, to the glass, or to the back
right.
window or something like that, and then they
So
have an antenna that sticks straight up.
so I don't know about the new Model 3s, but on the Model Ys they have like power that's in the trunk, right?
Mm.
So you could, in theory, you could probably just run a wire up through the trunk or whatever, just to stand up. But my point is that if I came up with a simple solution, you get a bunch of Tesla owners installing, tacking that in for fun, and have a bunch of Teslas, going mobile.
Well, it has a Wi-Fi network, right? So it has a Wi-Fi hotspot in the car, right?
No, it does.
It does not.
Nope. It has data connection, and there's a Wi-Fi radio. It's the same radio that's used for Bluetooth and for connecting.
It cannot do a hotspot.
No, cannot do a hotspot. It does not hotspot.
Okay, that's sad.
In my car, it's only 3G. I think in the newer ones, it's 5G.
Well, that's going to be a problem.
It's only for the car's telemetry and
because those
remote
3G networks are going away.
Well, I will eventually get rid of my car. I will replace it with probably the Model Y Performance, but I got to be in a financial position for that first. Yeah.
Okay, let's go. Want to go over the fun stuff?
Yeah, it's basically all you except for two things from me.
Okay, let me
just
quick,
go first.
You can,
because then mine are just two out of.
I think mine is related to the earlier topic.
Okay, so
the first one.
Casey and I dropped out a, his commentary on Sora AI that came out. I've even seen iJustine put out she's in my subscription sort of feed, and so I saw her drop a bunch of stuff, and I'm like, oh my god, it's so ugly. She looks so terrible. It's so not impressive, even though she thinks it's anyhow. So I'm giving them kind of in reverse order here. Polymatic.link /1km, and then what I talked about, Suno AI, Polymatic.link /1kl. And then you have a whole bunch that are related.
Yep. So there's the first one, which is someone should go to jail for this. It's also about Sora by Voidzilla, aka Coffeezilla. So he has his own separate channel for like more off the cuff stuff, and his take was pretty much on par with. It was pretty much the same kind of message as Casey Neistat was giving. How cursed it is and that kind of stuff. So Polymatic.link /1K6 for that one, and then ESP32 drone Polymatic.link /1K7. Somebody built their own little drone, very lightweight drone with an ESP32 at the core. And of course, Lego came out with a Game Boy model, and somebody put an actual display in it. But there's also somebody else who put an actual Game Boy in it. And I'm not talking about a Raspberry Pi, an actual Game Boy into it. And that is Polymatic.link /1K8, and then Lego Game Boy with the Raspberry Pi, Polymatic.link /1K9. And then next one is I built a $20,000 military drone for $106.23. A military router.
Router, not drone.
Yeah.
Polymatic.link
/1KA. And then I built this ESP32 and 3-color e-ink display project, Polymatic.link /1KD. And I don't remember exactly what that was, but it was I put it on there, so must have been good. And then floppy from scratch, Polymatic.link /1KE. So an old floppy disk, and then him being able to read it and actually getting data from it was kind of fun to see. And then a good video. This was actually pretty wholesome and fun to see. Polymatic.link /1KF for I spent 30 days in a dead MMO. It's actually a pretty popular video. So yeah, it was
I've never heard of this MMO.
I never heard of this game either. It was
It made me think of which I never did, but was it Second Life? Remember that?
Yeah. But this is
And
not.
Eve
This is
Online, and there's a whole
there was
bunch of them.
2D isometric
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah. So then, a true crime history of solar energy by the Brain Scoop. She's back, posting new videos. Polymatic.link is 1kg. She used to like do taking dead animals apart, but then
Yeah, well, that's what she went to school for. Emily Grassley,
yes,
Frank became friends with her or something, and then gave her a channel, and she did her own thing for a while. And I guess she's back. I don't know. I recognized who it was. I just didn't know that she was going by Brain Scoop. So.
Yep. Because that's what the thing was for the channel. It was like a little spoon to get the brains out of an animal.
Yeah.
Polymatic.link /1kg for that one. 1 kilogram. Then IKEA tiny homes. Blahai teasers. Polymatic.link /1kh. The Japanese tiny homes by IKEA or something.
I didn't know that was a real thing, or I didn't.
I have no
what
idea.
That was about.
It was a very low viewed video. I was like, oh, this is actually kind of funny. Polymatic.link /1kh for that one. And then this one was interesting. I think I shared one of this guy's videos before with the landmark thing when there's there's like a landmark on all these buildings in the UK.
Yeah.
Why does Britain's mapping agency have a box of spiders? Polymatic.link /1kj for that one. And then this one was very topical because I think we met the guy at some point. I think it was Google I/O.
What's
how
that?
MakerBot convinced us to buy literal hot garbage. Polymatic.link /1kk.
I don't know. I remember meeting him. Are you talking
No,
about the
not
guy who started it?
Yeah.
I reached out to him
Pettis.
for the podcast. He was nice before all the drama happened for him. He was the CEO of MakerBot. I used to follow that guy online when he was at that hacker. What do they call it? Hacker something, but it was basically a makerspace. And him and his friend, started MakerBot. They took apart old printers to get all that stuff going. Bree something, right?
Bree Pettis.
Bree Pettis. That's it. I met him at. I met him when he came down to PodCamp Philly. Nice guy. Again, nice guy at the time. He wasn't. I knew about the MakerBot, but it hadn't like exploded yet. Bree Pettis. That's it. And he was like, I would love to come on your show, but you guys have topics that I'm trying to have a clean appearance with the podcast I show up on.
It was that time of the podcast.
Yeah, and so I was like, yeah, I totally get that. Yeah, so
Polymatic.link /1kk for that one. There's a guy who dresses as a cyborg, talks about how bad the MakerBots really were. So that was it for that one. Then I have 3 songs. Rosie Bad Breaks and Goodbyes. Polymatic.link /1kb, 1 kilobyte. Then Rooks Up, Adversity and Hope. They did a soundtrack for a documentary about the former NATO secretary, which is weird, but they also do soundtracks apparently. Polymatic.link /1ki. And then Emai, Late to the Party. Polymatic.link /1kc.
Yeah, I like her vibe, so I followed her. It's a good song.
It reminded me of another song I think you shared in the past, and I don't remember if it was the same person. I checked the link database for Polymatic, and it wasn't. This video was not in here, so I'm sure there was another video with a party and them doing stuff, and I don't know. It looked very familiar to me, and I was like, did we share this before?
No, so Late to the Party is a title that I recognize that Orla created for a song that's unreleased. That only place you could get it is... Oh, no, she did. She did release that one. Hold on. Late to the Party is an Orla track. There was another one, Party by Myself. That's the one that's unreleased. And it's a really good song. I don't know why she didn't do it.
No, but I think you shared it on Polymatic before. Something with a similar vibe to the music video.
Here. So you'll have to cut this out, but let me...
yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I don't need to hear it.
Okay. Either way, I didn't recognize her. So I've never shared her stuff. So, yeah.
Okay. So that's the last of the links. Do you know what happens next?
Yeah, you can insert a sound clip from another show.
You're refusing to say it?
Yeah, I gotta surprise you every once in a while.
So you can find Alan at polymatic.link/Alan. You can find me at polymatic.link/John. For feedback, you reach us at podcast@polymatic.media. Our website is polymatic.media, where you can find all our links to. And I hope you tune in next time. And no AI uns at the end.
I could try to make that.
No.
All right.
There's a reason we don't have that song anymore.
Was it AI?
No, it was
your friend made it.
No. It was royalty-free music.
Oh.
And they just killed the website. So there was no way to check the license.
Oh.
And I didn't want to get it
it was good though.
at some
I like
point.
that.
I still have it somewhere. I think you know what? I'm going to send you the MP3 and have fun with it.
All right, awesome.